Okay, so we're now recording.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for Cultural Conversations. Cultural Conversations is our effort to engage the community in all things artistic with a goal to inspire greater participation in and a passion for the arts in our community. Through our cultural conversations, we intend to provide interesting and evocative dialogue designed around place, which is people, land, arts, culture, and engagement. So just a quick note on housekeeping. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box. You can find that at the bottom of your screen or to the right, depending on what view you have. We are also recording this session, so it will be shared afterwards with people who are unable to join us tonight, and that would be your opportunity to share it with a friend. Tonight, I'm proud to introduce our series sponsor, PNC Arts Alive. Representing them this evening is Tracy Sorzano, Senior Vice President and Market Leader for Florida East PNC Wealth Management. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you, Jennifer. It is a pleasure to be joining you all this evening. We at PNC are excited once again to be a sponsor of the Arts Council of Martin County and Cultural Conversations. PNC has a long history of partnering with local organizations that strengthen and enhance our communities. We know what art can do, how it changes perspectives, and even how it changes lives. From classical music and fine art to dance and theater, we also understand that a rich arts community is a significant driver of South Florida's economic success. And we're committed to keeping the $4 billion arts and culture industry alive in Florida by funding quality programming through PNC Arts Alive, one of our signature grant-making programs. PNC has pledged over $1 million to area organizations and supported 44 programs since launching this initiative in Southeast Florida in 2016. With the unanticipated impact of the pandemic on live performances and gatherings, the support we give to the arts in our community is more important than ever. PNC is delighted to partner with organizations like the Arts Council of Martin County as they bring their programming to the community in a virtual format and continue their mission of enriching the lives of residents and visitors alike by showcasing the creativity, talent, and passion of our local artists. Thank you again for letting PNC be a part of tonight's program. And let me start by introducing one of our guests this evening. Artist Maria Mealy holds a Bachelor of Fine Arts from Caldwell College and a Master of Fine Arts from New York University. Until last year, she was the upper school visual art teacher specializing in photography, drawing, and painting, and taught AP studio courses. Maria is former board member of the Arts Council of Martin County and is a member of the Martin Artisans Guild. As a side note, the Guild is holding their annual open studio tour this weekend. Maria's work is constantly evolving, which is evident in the variety of subject matter and painting styles throughout the years of her career. What stays consistent is her passion for color and bold, minimal composition. This is most obvious in her photographic imagery. Photography has always been a vehicle for inspiration and experimentation and is the usual resource for her paintings. Being able to capture a place or moment in time and transfer that to a two-dimensional surface is what she is called to do. It's my pleasure to introduce you tonight, Maria Mealy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that intro. Tracy, thank you so much for PNC and your sponsorship for tonight's program. And I want to welcome all our panelists, all these very accomplished photographers who I admire so much. We have such a variety and a diverse group this evening. So we have Greg Davis, who is joining us from Austin, Texas. We have Gianna Izzolo, who's not actually on the panel at the moment, but she's going to join in. She'll be in New York. We have Diane Dultmeier. who is, I feel like she's kind of our signature portrait artist, but I don't even want to put you in that category because you do so many other amazing things. We have Rich West, and a lot of you know him as Single Fin Photo, if you follow him on Instagram. And Mark Stahl, who I admire so much for your really is, I think you're our signature fine art photographer this evening. So cool. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm gonna just go ahead and throw out some talking points and you guys can chime in. So let's talk a little bit about signature style. What would you consider your signature style, and is that an important thing to have? Greg?
Yeah.
Don't everybody speak all at once.
I'll answer that. Yeah, I feel like, you know, my work, I'm in my studio here in Austin, and my work behind me, and it's really the human condition, it's cultural work. There's really an element of spirituality. There's a moment that I look for that I feel. It's more of a feeling than it is seeing. And I hope that, you know, when I'm shooting, that I can translate that from, again, like you said, from 2D, a two-dimensional piece, to be able to relate that emotion. And I feel like that's where my work kind of lies, in that space.
I would agree. From what I saw with all of your work that I've seen, it is very emotional. Can you, do you have anything available you can just share with us real quick? Could you share a few images?
Do I? Yeah. Well, for example, this piece right behind me, I'm an ambassador for a nonprofit called Well Aware. They're based in Austin, and they build water wells all over the world, mostly in Eastern Africa and Kenya, Tanzania, but they started to branch out into Haiti and other locations. But water is such a valuable resource. It's a big problem that's coming, and Well Aware is there to sort of help people who don't have access to clean water get it. And it's there, it's just, you got to get down to it. So they bring in heavy equipment, and they brought me in 2015 and 2016 to help tell the story of the work that they do. And my idea was to work with the children in this village called Alamak. These are, they're probably 8 to 9 year old children in a really remote part of Kenya, about 4 hours north of Nairobi. And Well Aware has now built a well in this village. I worked with those kids to create the proverbial representation of that well and an art piece to give a platform for me to share the work that they do, but also for people to collect the piece too. I do limited editions of this piece at 150. And I since did another one. I went back in 2016. They hired me again to go back, and I created another, I call it Circle of Gratitude, another Circle of Gratitude. And I feel like those pieces are great representations of the work that's being done, and they give a great platform and a voice to these people who really need this well, this water.
That's a good segue into my next question. But does anybody else want to chime in on signature style?
I will.
Go ahead.
For me, it's about relationship and connection and family and capturing people and their light that they each put out into the world. And just like the legacy of our families. And sometimes we don't realize how important these photographs are until sometime later when the time has passed to be able to create something like that again. And I know from my own experience in my life with people that I cared about, how important photographs become. So they're like our family history and our personal history even. So to me, my signature style is connection, relationship.
That's a good way of putting it. I like that better than just saying you're a portrait artist, because I didn't want to put you in that box, because that's so true. It almost looks like you have a connection with your people. And I know people that, you know, in the community that have used you for years because they know they have that connection with you, and you keep it going year after year. So I actually have a few of your images right here. I'm going to go ahead and share them. while I can. I loved this one. I liked all of them, but I'm going to go ahead and put this one up. Okay, Jennifer, I'm disabled.
Interesting. Let me figure out why.
All right, so let me know when that's ready and I'll share it. Okay, Rich, you definitely have a very, I mean, obviously, you know, if anybody follows you on Instagram, they know almost every day they're going to get this amazing, calming, soothing, you know, ocean sea life video. And how much of that is the type, you know, is that a signature style for you? Or is that?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it's developed in many different ways. I think initially my style was very kind of serene, beautiful animals, moving slowly. And then that kind of, the way I like to think of it is more kind of capturing, it's almost like kind of sports photography now, in the context of it's capturing something very quickly, a split second, and then it's gone. And so I kind of see my style as that, and it's nice to make the serene, beautiful images. But I think I've kind of journeyed kind of further forward into the idea that an image can't just be beautiful. It's not just about seeing; it's about feeling something from the image. And so I think my style's kind of migrated towards that.
I think that's a common feeling. I think very successful, accomplished photographers all have that emotional connection with the images they're taking. Mark, do you want to chime in on signature style?
Sure. I'm going to start by admitting and saying that that we discovered that I had dyslexia in my 40s, undiagnosed. And it really, I feel it forced me to become a very strong visual thinker. Besides the fact that my father used to shove cameras in our faces and I found boxes of equipment in the basement. And so, so I feel I've got a very strong visual ability today. I've got the ability to see composition around me everywhere I look, and I just have to grab that. And and I do it with both high-end digital cameras and, quite frankly, an iPhone. I feel an iPhone forces me to capture that simple image in one shot and to have fun with it at a later time. But also living in Wisconsin my whole life, we had a lot of water, so I was drawn to nautical and rivers and water all the time. And then we moved to Florida, so I continued that, capturing nautical and everything water based and related. So that's where I am. And I too, similar to what you were saying about your style, Maria, very simple. I don't go, you know, it doesn't have to be super complicated. It's extremely colorful, high contrast, and simple composition in most cases. So if that works, that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I would agree. So, okay, so anybody working on any creative projects, because you're all professionals, right? You all have photography projects that you have to do to make a living, but do you have any creative projects that you do on your own, just for you? That may turn into something else, but you know, something that you, and is it important to continue to do that in your own creative journey? Greg, I'm looking at you because I don't know if you guys can tell I'm looking at you, but I'm looking at you because I know you just recently did a kind of, you took a few months and you toured the country, correct?
Vacation. That was just purely vacation.
That was vacation.
It was wonderful. I haven't had a vacation in about 14 years. I've been hard at it. My work takes me all over the world, but it's certainly not a vacation. I'm there to work. And about 3 years ago, I got an opportunity. An art center here in Texas is opening up. It's a multi-million-dollar redo of a building, and Waco, Texas is the place. And you probably all have heard of Waco for the wrong reasons, but there's a wonderful university there called Baylor that I went to, that my great-grandmother went to in the 1800s. So Baylor goes way back in my family history. And they reached out to me and they said, we would like for you to be the inaugural exhibit for our opening of our art center. So I said, what do you want? And they said, we don't know, you're the artist. And I said, okay, challenge accepted. So I said, what do you think about bringing in a cultural experience into this space rather than just a photo exhibit? So I've been working on this for about 3 years, and finally with COVID, we were already supposed to have this exhibition, but with COVID, it put a halt on it. But I got a text and a call really this week about, hey, we're ready to rock and roll in the late summer. I can't even imagine. It just sounds weird to even be doing this, but they want to do this exhibit at the end of the summer. And I bring in Oaxacan dance. I bring in a mezcal company to do tastings. I bring in a celebrity, James Beard award-winning chef, Ileana de la Vega. I'm meeting with her tomorrow to bring in tastings. I bring in I'm gonna have a weaver there with a loom with the traditional indigo dyes and the cochineal, the bug that makes red, and they'll do a presentation of that.
Sounds
so
way beyond photography.
It's full immersion experience, exactly. I don't want it to be about Greg Davis photography. I want it to be about Oaxaca, because that's really what it's about. So it's bringing in the culture of Oaxaca with my work as the backdrop. And of course, after the opening night, then, that whole month, then my work will be the focus after that, but the opening night will have this big celebration. And so I'm literally I've been working on it for 3 years, and I'm just starting now. They gave me a thumbs up this week to start moving forward on the planning of that. So I'll be producing that. And then I'll bounce that around to Texas museums and art centers. And that's the next 3 years will be that.
Okay. When will that opening be?
They said late summer. I'm talking to them next week about details. About ironing all, the wins and how much, and, what their vision is for the number of people. Will it be outside? Will it be inside?
Your show will be up for
a month.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I visit Texas often, so I'm going to try to make that trek. I don't know how far Waco is from Dallas. That I don't know yet.
It's about an hour and a half. It's not too far.
That's doable.
Yeah. So I'm full in that. That's my whole thing right now for the next, probably at least for the next 2 or 3 months. I'll be producing that, and then I'll be pitching it to other, locations to bring it to other Texans, bringing Oaxaca. Rather than build a wall, we're going to bring the culture over and celebrate it, is what my plan is.
Okay. Sounds exciting. Wow. Okay. Any other creative projects that you guys want to share?
Nothing specific for me, just continuing my enjoyment of searching out anything water and nautical related. But I'm in a position too where I've been too busy to concentrate on anything specific, but I think I'm getting close to spending some more time on developing that body of work.
Diane, what about you?
I've been doing something that's been super fun the last couple of months. I've been photographing dogs. And
I noticed that.
That's a little popular.
I had no idea that it would be so fun, but it's really, really fun. And some fun images have come out of it. And it's been a fundraiser. I've raised so far about $2,500 for an organization called the Farm Dog Rescue here in Martin County.
Okay.
But it's just been really fun. I mean, it's not a personal project per se, but super fun.
Rich?
Projects wise for me, it's photography competition kind of season, so it's getting all of that stuff in, which is all kind of done, which is great. And then the way I work, I find a photographer who I really admire, and then I try and figure out how they do it. And so at the moment, there's a guy called John Sanchez who does these amazing photographs of waves, and I cannot figure out how he does it. It's low light, and he doesn't heavily edit. And so that's me creatively, that's away from kind of photography work per se. That's the passion project at the moment. And it's very frustrating, but I'll get there. But it's taking some time to figure out exactly how he does it, and then kind of merging it into my style.
I think that's a common thread too with photographers. And I wonder, do you all have other photographers that you admire and try to emulate somehow? I know I look at Clyde Butcher's work and I'm like, I want to make that. And I get continually frustrated when it's not as good, and of course I'm not using the big format camera either. So, but do you have other photographers or artists that you use to try to improve your own work or do something different with your own work?
Yes. Yeah, maybe I've been motivated by Vincent Versace, his travels around the world, and one of my good old favorites, John Paul Caponegro, how he manipulates work that you would never imagine combining several images into one. So those are two fellows in particular that I've been following for a while.
I'm a huge fan of Steve McCurry's work, even though he kind of went through some questionable decisions. Let's just say that. I'm still a huge fan of his work. JR, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the French photographer JR, unbelievable artist. Look him up and look what he's doing. It's really amazing. I heard him speak in DC at Nat Geo. They brought him in, and really amazing what this guy does. These are global ideas that he's working on. For example, this was years ago. He went to Palestine and he photographed some of the Palestinian people on the street. And they said, "What are you going to do with these images?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm going to put them on the wall. The wall between Israel and Palestine." He goes, "I'm going to put them on the wall." So he went over to Israel's side and he took photographs on the street, and the people asked him, "What are you going to do with these images?" He goes, "I'm going to put them on the wall." But he switched them. And they were real fun, playful, like, close up, black and white angles. And, it might be a Israeli man pulling his hair like this and he put that on the Palestinian side, and he put the playful Palestinians looking at the Israelis to humanize them, to make them realize they're fun people. And it's genius. But his work is always really pushing and testing the boundaries of human relations. And right now he's working, I know he did some work on the border of Texas with the wall. So a lot of really cool things. So check out JR if you're looking for something really unique.
Putting that in my notes. Okay, go to this, just a quick question. Go-to lens. Do you guys have a go-to lens? Do you have a brand of cameras and equipment that you like to use?
I use Nikon. I am very non-geeky. I use an 85 1.4 almost always, and sometimes a 50, sometimes a 35. And I just know enough to do what I need to do. And I'm super not technical.
You know what to do with what you have, and you make it work.
Yeah.
I think the emotion and the expression is the most important thing. And then the light, obviously. And if you do this for a long time, you just sort of know. So.
That is true. That is true. How much of your shooting, of your job, the actual professional parts, do you plan ahead? I mean, I know, it's muscle memory for most of you because you guys are doing it all the time, but how much planning goes into the actual shoot?
For me, a lot, because it's all outdoors, and it's not just the water, but it's the air as well. For the aerial stuff with the drone, It's tides, winds, water clarity, where the sunlight's going to be. For most of the still shots I take, I have about a 30-minute window to get the shot, because I don't use polarizing filters. And so there's a lot of planning. It doesn't usually go to plan. And then, so you set all that up, but then you've got to, it's not like every day a shark just decides to swim past you. So that's the other nut in the works. So lots and lots of planning, but for a very small percentage of what you get at the end of it. But as nature is, and as Mother Nature is, she'll always throw something up. Like recently, I think it was about a month back, a whale shark appeared out of nowhere. And
that whale shark,
everybody
follows you after that whale shark video.
And that was a day where for me, conditions for the aerial stuff wasn't that good. And so I was shooting DSLR stuff, but was on the beach. And yeah, Mother Nature decided to throw me a good one. But yeah.
For those of you that are watching or listening to this right now, if you want to see the whale shark video, go to Rich's Instagram, which is Single Fin Photo on Instagram, and I can promise you, you'll get many. There's so many beautiful, calming videos to watch of sea life, and they're just quite amazing. So I would suggest you, I suggest you follow everybody on this panel, because there are so many beautiful things out there that all of you do different work, and it's just, it's very inspiring. So for all of you photography enthusiasts that are watching, I highly recommend that you follow all of these photographers. So how lucky do you get with spontaneity versus planning? Like, I know obviously when you're doing sea life, it's like spontaneity is huge, but
especially in what I do. Yeah, it's all, I was kind of with Rich on this, you plan, but things probably aren't going to go like you thought they might, but these magic moments can happen. And learning light, being at the right place at the right time helps a lot in my work. And the relationships obviously are super important when it comes to, you can kind of see a few of the pieces behind me. There's a lot of human element involved in the work. And so connecting with the people, getting the trust, but most of the work is moment in time. It's recognizing that moment, being there for it. So there's a lot of feet on the ground, a lot of time spent. We talked about lenses earlier, and as a travel photographer, I love prime lenses, but as a travel photographer, it's better to have my kit be, I love my 70 to 200, 2.8. I can get a lot of different places with one lens. It's a little heavier, but carrying an 85 and a 50 and a 135, it's too much. So I normally shoot, and I shoot Canon. I normally I'll take a 24 to 70 and a 70 to 200, and I'm covered from 24 to 200. So it works out.
So you're ready.
I'm ready for, yeah.
You're ready when the shot emerges.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, with Diane, with the work that you do, again, most of your work is planned. Like so you know what, what places you're going to go, right? The people you're going to be shooting. So and I love the 85 and the 50 for portraiture. Those are my favorites.
I think for any photographer, being an observer and anticipating the moment may be one of the most important thing. I don't know. For me, it's taken me a long time to figure out that is like in there, and just kind of what's going to happen next and being ready for it.
Yeah.
I always aspired to be a photojournalist myself too. So I understand what you mean. All of you people mean about that. Just having the right equipment handy and roaming around, whether it's planned or not. In my case, I haven't planned too many places to search for photography yet, but that's my goal here in Florida now, to just go someplace and just roam around and anticipate that action and those things. And I've been luckily, I've had that luck and some success in doing it just that way, with that photojournalistic thought.
Well, and Mark, yours is pretty awesome. You see something that other people might just walk right past, and then you interpret something really cool with it. So
appreciate that. Yeah.
I really want to share some of your images. So do any of you have, Diane, I'm going to go ahead, because especially because we're on this subject of just kind of, you know, you're anticipating and you're ready to capture a moment. So let me see if I can do this now. Share this. Okay, so this is one of Diane's. I love this. It's called Sisters.
Careful.
And
Nice.
nice.
she's so sweet.
Adorable. I love it. I am a new grandmother, so I am
That's right.
practicing a lot. Okay, do I have, Mark, do I have yours? Do I have any of yours?
I thought you did. I did send you.
You sent them to me, but you have them. Can you go ahead and share a few? Okay, so you know, because we're talking about just being ready for that, you know, for that moment and anticipating.
Right.
How about like the one that you shot in front of the Lyric Theater, or the cat?
I'm trying to. Cool. Trying to. I'm getting. It's not producing the specific gallery albums that I wanted in my quick search here. So that's the problem, but I'll see if I can find it. Something like that.
Okay, in the meantime.
Okay, let's see. I wonder if I can get this one. Not sure how to show that.
So down at the bottom, it says share screen.
Okay.
And it should pop up a window, and then you could just pick what you want to share that's open on your screen.
Doesn't say share screen there. Let's see. Oh, here's a share content. Only the host can share this meeting, so I guess I'm not prepared to do that.
All right, so Jennifer has to allow you to do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys one of mine. Oh wait, she disabled me now.
I turned you off. Ha ha ha.
You're supposed to wait till the end to do that.
Ha ha.
Shall I try it again?
Here, Maria, why don't you show yours really quick, and then Mark, I'll change yours over. Okay.
So this is, well, I'll let you guys interpret it. This was during the lockdown, actually. This was lockdown. And
nice.
This was right after Gia, my granddaughter, was born. And I don't think you'll ever see the streets of Miami quite that empty ever again.
You had that in a recent exhibition we were in.
Yes, I did.
Good.
I did.
Okay, I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I'd like to welcome Gianna Izzolo. Yay!
Hi, I'm sorry I'm a little bit late.
It's okay.
Look at your little,
Living in New
it's
York
so
today.
cute. Your background is so cute. Take my mask off.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I introduced you already, so everybody knows who you are.
Oh, great.
And that you are working on building your own portrait photography career. And if you don't mind, Gianna, we're going to share, everybody's trying to share a few of their images. So maybe some of your recent ones.
Oh, how can I add it?
Take a couple minutes and find them, and Mark's going to go ahead and share his right now.
Okay.
How do I add, can I add them to, what do I add them to a chat?
No, you just you're going to open them and then share your screen. Jennifer will tell you how to do it in a minute.
Oh, share. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So oh, okay. Hold on. Give me a minute then. Okay.
Mark, go ahead.
Right,
you
Mark,
should be able to now.
Okay. Okay. I think I got it now. Oops, I had it. Try one more time. Photos. Doesn't want to come up. One more time.
You get your little window.
Yeah, screen broadcast, Zoom, start broadcast.
Okay, I'm gonna make an album and then I can.
Trying to share my screen.
Yeah, where it says share screen, you should get a little window that pops up that has a few different little icons you can click on.
Right. Trying for photos, it won't come up. So go ahead. I'll try after if somebody else wants to.
Okay.
Is anyone else ready?
Rich, do you have any you want to share with us?
Yeah, I think I'm not too savvy with this either, unfortunately. Let me figure this out.
Greg, you raised your hand. Are you ready?
I can click on share screen and see if this will work. It says host disabled attendee screen sharing on my screen.
Yep. I don't know why. You guys all should have been able to do this right away. But here we go. Greg, you're the host now.
Okay, so share screen. And clicking on my Lightroom catalog and full screen. It's not letting me full screen it. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so
wow.
See, when you look at a photo and it makes you go, oh, like that wow moment.
Yeah, that's
what I get from all of you. I love it.
This is a real gift to me and to those that can, engage in this photograph. It's really special. It's the moment of this man's salvation. So I was commissioned by a museum here in Texas to photograph. They gave me a theme. Myth and legend was the theme. And so I traveled to India's Kumbh Mela in 2013, which is the world's largest pilgrimage. The Hajj, the Muslim Hajj is, I don't know, I think it's maybe 4 or 5 million, and Kumbh Mela, a Hindu pilgrimage, every 12 years gets 120 million people. So it's
wow.
It's beyond. It's 55 days long. The Hindus believe in reincarnation. They believe that when they die, they'll come back. But if they make this journey to the confluence of these 3 rivers, the Ganges, the Yamuna, and then they believe there's a mythical river underneath that connects them, those 3 points, that nectar, that water, the nectar of immortality, that Amrit, they call it, allows them to break the cycle of reincarnation and go to heaven. So this is literally the moment that the man journeyed to Kumbh Mela, and he believes at that moment that he will be going to heaven.
Wow.
Cool.
The project was a 24-piece project. I directed a short film too, with the help of a lot of people, other talented people. But this is another pilgrim. This man showered himself in prayer beads. He's got a crown of marigold. He's got a gold leaf in the holiest part of the head. and he's put ashes on his face to represent that we all ultimately return to ashes. This is my friend Mohan Baba. I spent 3 days with Mohan. I asked him, I said, Mohan, where do you live? You know, we were at a pilgrimage, so everyone was from somewhere else. I said, I'm from America. Where are you from? He said, the sky is my roof, the land is my room. And
Wow.
he was from a wealthy family. He gave it all away and became it's me showing him some of the recordings that we did of him. Ultimately, he was in that short film that I mentioned before. These are all the pilgrims crossing the bridges. So I won't take too much time with all of my work, but that's a taste of some of it.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was explaining to people who I had on this panel, I put you in the, you're my Nat Geo guy. I mean, just remarkable. I mean, honestly,
Definitely.
all of you, I feel like we could talk, you could all talk for hours about your work and the journey that you've been on. Gianna, would you like to tell us a little bit about what you're doing in New York?
Sure. So I work for Albert Watson. I'm a assistant here at the studio. My tasks vary from I help him whenever he's on set. We haven't been on set since August, actually, so it's been a while because of COVID. But I help him with that. I help here a lot with the archiving and with all the millions of negatives he has. And part of my job here is to also kind of look through the negatives and pull things that I find are interesting based off of what Albert and his son Aaron, I know what they like. So, or what, is like a good Instagram post, or, we make prints here in the studio for sale and for galleries all around the world. So I kind of have to have I'm almost like an editor in a way of the negatives, but in the past, the people that used to work here did not do a good job of archiving on the computer. So also part of my job, which is huge, is to really get these file names correct, because the amount of files in the computer that are just titled like scan 1 2 3 4, it's like you'll never be able to find it, and it's absolutely terrible. I could tell you it's a nightmare, actually. So if anything, it's good motivation for me to really be on top of my file naming, and I could probably say that for everyone here. Because it'll just help you in the long run, because long after you're gone, maybe somebody needs to take care of your work, and it'll just make their lives easier too. So but then other than that, I do that 3 days a week here, and then I'm also just a freelance photographer myself, and I've just been really trying to grow my portfolio, especially portraiture, and I've been testing every week whenever I can. I just get the time to. It's hard during the week because I'm just tired from work and I don't have a lot of motivation to set my whole studio set up in my apartment. I'm really hoping that my next lease, I have a 2-bedroom, so I can actually make one of the bedrooms just a permanent studio. That's my life goal. So that's pretty much it.
Do you have some pieces that you can share, or do you want me to share I could share your website that's got the band?
I haven't updated it in like a month or so, and I have an album I just made on my phone, but can I share from my phone, my screen?
Yeah, you can.
Do I just click share content?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll do that.
And then I have a question too. We actually kind of went around and asked what photographers everybody admired and what they, tried to use in their own work. And so I'm going to pose that one to you as well.
Sure.
I obviously you work for Albert Watson.
Yes, I know. And that has, in a way, that has become my number one source of inspiration. solely because of how diverse his work is. I mean, he's done brilliant landscapes, which I'm, you know, not very familiar with or comfortable with, to, you know, remarkable portraiture, to, you know, fashion photos that are just beyond, you know, our time, like looking at photos from the 80s that look like they were taken yesterday, just based off of the lighting and composition. And so yeah, obviously Albert, but I've always loved, you know, like the, not cliche, but like Avedon and Irving Penn, and I've gained some other inspiration actually from Albert, who he's inspired by, which is like Edward Weston, did beautiful portraits, and also beautiful still lifes of like vegetables and obscure objects, but photographing them in a way with the light, making them look truly like a sculpture when it's like a weirdly shaped bell pepper or something. So it just kind of makes me think about how important lighting is. And everything from, you know, what angle you have your camera, how low are you shooting level with, you know, the object that you're shooting, and that's part of what I try to do every week, because you never really know until you test it and test it and test and shoot and shoot and shoot. And that's what Albert tells me every week, is that I can make it, it's just that I have to keep shooting. So that's kind of what my inspiration is, or who I'm inspired by, photographers. And I before, you know, years ago, my dream was to be a National Geographic photographer. So I follow, I mean, probably 50 plus photographers on Instagram that are Nat Geo photographers, and I just haven't traveled in a long time, but I'm very eager to, because I love street photography and documentary photography, and I feel very comfortable going up to people. It's just that I haven't done that in a while, so I'm really ready to do that again and see how my work compares to me going like years ago in high school when I went to India for a photography expedition.
I remember those photos well.
Yeah, I still say.
Do you follow Greg? Do you follow Greg Davis, who's on our panel? Do you follow him yet? Because if you don't, you need to. You guys.
No, I will tonight. As soon as I get off here, I will. Absolutely.
You'll have some good info.
Yeah.
And you know, I watched Albert Watson's interview live that he did the other day at SCAD, and
yeah.
A few things he said during that interview you have all mentioned. One of them is your relationships, you know, your and making the people you are shooting comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then he also talked about the practice. Yeah. You have to be in the practice as an artist in general. Being in the practice is so important. And
yeah.
And just constantly working at it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he always compares it to driving a car. It's like, you know, when you're learning how to drive, you have to drive every day. And it's just like photography. If you continue to shoot every day or every week all the time, and you'll get better and better, and you'll notice certain things that need to change, or, you know, what will make the photo better, what will push it to make it memorable, or yeah, just a good photo in your eyes, a successful photo.
All right, so on that note, what makes a successful photo? What makes a great shot?
Well, it's kind of how we reacted.
For all of you.
It's kind of how we reacted to that photo that just came up when I joined, of the man in India. You know, it's like when you have a genuine reaction to an image like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's like,
I'm blessed. I get to witness that's why I continue to do exhibits and be there for them, because I get to be the witness between the moment that it was created and witnessing the reaction to that photo, which is a huge honor for me to be a part of. Like, to see someone, and Stuart, the lady walked in completely bawling, and I asked her, "Are you okay?" And she said, I've never been touched like this by a photograph. She brought her best friend back the next day, and they sat and they stared at this photo. It's 40 by 60. I had it in Stuart, and it's a big piece. And when you walk in, it moves you. And I'm just honored to have it, to be gifted it, and to be able to share it, and have the hustle to drive it all the way from Texas to Florida last month,
Wow.
and show it to people along with the other works. But I've seen that piece move. It's got the it factor, like she mentioned, Gianna mentioned it, and you see that in Albert's work probably, for sure. It's got that it that you just, that's a God thing for me, that I was even able to get that, because the work is so moment in time. Just be there, do the work, keep shooting, keep going, make your mistakes, just keep going.
Yeah.
So true. So true. All right, anybody else want to chime in on what makes a great shot?
I think that's a really tough, if not impossible, question, but I bet in everybody's case here, we shoot for ourselves. I capture images that work for me, and if people enjoy it, it's a plus. So I spent my life just capturing for myself first, and that's where I'm coming from.
Rich, when you're shooting the sea life, and are you as wowed by it when you're shooting it as after you see the finished product?
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny. You Nat Geo. So I was shooting video for Nat Geo towards the end of last year, and we were, ironic as well, doing the Florida mullet run, and it was nearly 2 months it took to get something that they'll probably use maybe, I don't know, 5-10 seconds of.
Wow.
And the anticipation of trying to get it and not really knowing, like seeing it, seeing certain images and videos of it, and all these, teeming of sharks and fish, but to see it on the beach, and at that time it was just me and nobody else in the middle of a thunderstorm, and to see it through, that was aerial stuff, so obviously getting video, and then in between getting video, taking snapshots myself, to see that was unbelievable. And from that angle, because you could obviously see it from the beach, the water's kind of boiling, there's fins flying everywhere, but to suddenly get this perspective and see this natural spectacle, which appears for all of 5 minutes and it's just gone, that kind of is magic.
That's magic. That's magic. Do you all have some kind of ritual that you do when you know you got a great shot? Because I know I make like I love what I just got. Like, I just know if I got a good one. And I mean, do you guys all have your own like little ritual or anything that you do that when you know you nailed something?
I only have panic that I haven't got it right, or that my ISO wasn't set right, or that's my initial thought process. My initial thought process is I got it, and then the next second is did I really get it?
Yeah.
And it's kind of more for me that you go into a zone, like exactly what Rich was talking about. You just go into the zone, you ignore everybody and everything. Just if you've got something, then it's just such a joy to be able to concentrate and keep capturing until it's done. So that's where I go into a zone.
That's a good point. That's true.
Mine kind of happens I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Mine happens at like right before the shutter clicks. I mean, it's right here. It's right, and I can feel it when I see it, and I'm moved by it. It happens right there, and you know, a lot of things have to line up when it's sort of street photography and not planned. But when I recognize it, and then to be able to print it in 2D and share it and have people have a reaction is really, you know, and that's what, you know, Mark was saying. It's hard to say because I may love it and I do shoot personal. My work is very personal, but it's, for me, it's about sharing it and then getting to see, you know, how others react to it and getting to share the work. It's like music, and the guys on stage playing and someone's dancing to a song. It's really got to be a wonderful thing for a musician to watch someone dance to his own music. And, you know, as an exhibiting artist, I think if we've all exhibited our art, to be able to see people engage with the work and dance with the work is really special.
Yeah.
That is true. Diane, do you do any exhibiting besides, I mean, I know you're working on the dog project now, but is that like do you do any exhibiting photography?
I don't do exhibiting like art gallery, but I guess you could say my work's exhibited in homes all over the place.
It is. Obviously, you're collected in many, many, many places.
I don't know. It's a little bit different, but I like working with families.
And you're very good at it.
Oh,
I love your work. So, okay. How important is social media marketing to your work? Because some of you use it in different ways.
It created my career. Really? Yeah. I got lucky. And with originally just taking images, having 60 followers, and then got a message from somebody questioning how I photoshopped these animals into these pictures. And so I kind of thought, oh, you know, should I give some kind of, you know, kind of pernicious reply back? I didn't, thank God. And so I just posted the video of what I had before the shot, and I went to sleep. And the next day it had 50,000 views. The day after that was 1.2 million. Day after that was 3.4 million. And I went from 60 followers on Instagram to whatever it is now, you know, 12,000. And that kind of just opened every avenue. So I owe it all to social media and that person who was trying to make my day really bad, but actually created a career for me.
That's amazing. Greg, what about you? Do you do anything specific with social media?
It seems like it takes a lot of time for me to stay engaged, to continue to post, to update, but it really is beneficial to, you know, a website is so static and it's so dynamic, you know, it's up to date. The tagging, the hashtag thing is genius. You know, it helps get the word out. I've been working with a company. So there's a mescalero down in Oaxaca that I photographed, a man who, third generation mescalero who makes mezcal. And I photographed him, and, you know, they share it and they do the, you know, the @ sign, and it links to me and I link to them. And it's really brilliant how it works. And so I try to spend at least a few hours a day, put myself out there, you know, on social media. But I have a pretty nice website too that I keep up to date. But a lot of my work comes from being on the ground and doing exhibits and stuff like that, face to face.
I can't wait to see the exhibit in Waco. Definitely going to try to make that happen. All right, I know we're coming up on 6:30, so Jennifer's going to make me wrap this up. And I know, and we're not going to have time for questions. So if everybody who's watching has a question, please email us, and we'll get those questions answered for you. Also, this is recorded and you can share it. You can all share it on your own, you know, Facebook pages. First, I just want to thank you all for joining me. I feel like I could this is when you geek out as a photographer. You're like, oh, now I have all these other questions I want to answer.
Yeah.
And I just like hang out. But so again, thank you so much for joining me. And I do have a few awards I need to say for the Arts Council. So thank you all of you that are watching for joining us on Cultural Conversations. And our next Cultural Conversations, which will be next month, is going to be Why Public Art? Boy, I could chime in on that one too. And that's going to explore the place of public art in our community. And the panelists will include artists, public art administrators, and people who have commissioned art for their buildings. And please go see the Clyde Butcher exhibit, which is behind me. And it is up for another 2 weeks. I think the last day is the 12th.
13th of March is the last day.
Thank you. So go take the time to go see that exhibit. It is beautiful. We're very lucky to have it in our area. And Clyde Butcher is someone who I've been inspired by forever, and I'm just really grateful that we have him here in our community. And if you guys will, if we can get the information on all of your Instagrams and Facebook pages, we'll get that out to all our everybody that was watching. So Greg, Mark, Diane, Gianna, Rick, thank you so much. Tracy, thank you so much for the sponsorship.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me. And
appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Right.
Oh.